Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, wherever you are listening from different part of the world. This is Global Success Stories brought to you by Kamrul Hassan from Bangladesh. I have a reason to do these Global Success Stories from all over the country, all over the world. So I am bringing the success stories from across the planet, and I wish to cover 100 countries by this year, and I am in a mission to bring all of the successful stories for helping people to realize their dream, to helping them to understand who they are, how they can realize their potential. So that is the basic reason that I'm bringing all the successful stories from across the planet. At the same time, to bring the success stories from Bangladesh as well. I would like to present the Bangladeshi success stories all over the world, in the planet, wherever the people are present. I see there are a lot of hundreds of thousands of people are from Bangladesh are in different part of the world that doing it successfully. They are making their footprint, presence, and making our country proud in the world. So I thought to bring the world's success stories at the same time bringing our success stories and present it towards the world. And I hope and believe that by these successful people, I can learn something. Definitely, I am questioning them. I'm trying to understanding them why they are successful. What is their why behind them? And why they are successful, why not me? What we can learn from their life, from their stories, from their passion, from their mission. And I believe that those who are watching and will be watching this successful people's journey, there is something, some footprint they have, the common from all the successful people, all among the planet. And if we can follow this footprint, we believe that at least we can believe in ourselves. Yes, I can be successful too. I can take action too. I can have a dream too. And there is nothing wrong to believe in that dream and to take action and to materialize that dream for the betterment of our country, for myself and for the planet. We all need to take some initiative to make this world a better place for our next generation. And that's what my mission is. And in this journey, today I'm really very proud of to have someone from Canada. He is none other than Dwayne Klassen. And he has a remarkable journey. And let me introduce my guest today to the world, those who are watching and would be watching from different part of the world. Dwayne Klassen, welcome to the Global Success Story Show.
Kamrul, it's a real pleasure and an honor to be with you today on your show, and I'm really excited to be able to share with your group and your people and to my feed as well. So I'm really pumped about what we can explore today.
Thank you, Dwayne. So it's really a privilege. And those who are watching, those who are joining with us today, you are our inspiration. And I'm really indebted to you that you are putting your time and effort to watch us, to listen to us. Please give us some questions and also give us some comments. What do you want to learn? What do you want to hear? And what is your thought of our discussion? And today our discussion topic is masculinity in the age of the empowered women. Empowered women. Today, a lot of the world leadership is actually based and led by women. And why Dwayne Klassen is thinking about the masculinity in the age of empowered women. Today, we're going to dig down on this topic. Dwayne, masculinity in the age of empowered women. What's the reason? What is the history behind it?
We definitely are.
What is your why?
A lot of men and women to question what's going on. And because we live in the age of the empowered woman, this is where right now, especially in the Western world, where women are just on point. They're on fire. They're unstoppable. They're feeling the sense of purpose and passion in their lives, which is absolutely remarkable and amazing. But conversely, we have men that are feeling more confused, more frustrated, more challenged as to what it means to be a man in today's world than ever before. And these two worlds are colliding, and it's creating a very interesting relationship landscape. And right now, about 73% of relationships in the Western world are ending because she said so. And what I mean by that is that women have had enough of being the stewards of the relationship, of being the ones that are always trying to make things better in the relationship. And what ends up happening is these guys are wondering, what happened? I thought we were good. I thought things were awesome. But then she just never really felt that he was connected to what it was that they were trying to achieve, or didn't get the clues, or didn't get a handle on his own stuff. And that sense of being her champion just wasn't there anymore. And sadly, a lot of relationships are in the friend zone right now, where there's no sexual push-pull polarity because how men are typically showing up. And I started this, Cameron, because of my own challenges I had several years ago. I had what I call my perfect storm. And in about an 18-month period, I lost a successful advertising company to crooked partners. I won it back, but there was nothing left to save. I found out that my 7-year-old son from a previous relationship wasn't mine. And I was also in a great relationship with my fiance at the time, and I ended up going into the friend zone in that relationship, simply because I lost my energy, I lost my mojo, I lost the sense of self. Hey, Wendy, glad to see you on the show. And it really impacted how I showed up. And as much as I wanted to be her champion, I didn't have it in me. I didn't know. And what was happening was, because I lost my identity and my sense of self, I lost my mojo and my masculinity. So as a high-functioning woman, an alpha woman, what she needed was me to match her vibrational frequency or above. And what most men do when they're feeling that the relationship is not where it needs to be, they'll pacify. And we go to a default energy that does not serve the relationship. And it's quite counterintuitive, Cameron, because in our pop culture, we're taught to, yes, dear, whatever you want, dear. Here's some flowers, dear. No, you pick the restaurant. We're here to be nice guys when things aren't going well. But it's the worst thing that we can do to get the fire back into the relationship. Being a nice guy, absolutely. You want to be a nice guy, there's no question about it. But there is a time and a place where you have to step into your power, and the nice guy routine has to end. And as men, we've got to be decisive. And what in past relationships, when things weren't going well, instead of going, hey, babe, no, you pick the restaurant, or you pick the movie, all she wanted was, honey, 7 o'clock, little black dress, get ready. And that's it. Because that allows her to just go, oh my God, I don't have to make a decision anymore. Oh my God, he's got this handled. It's taken care of. And it allows her to drop from this masculine energy that she's hanging on to into her feminine vibration, where most women long to be. And sadly, a lot of guys don't know how to get her there. And so we languish in these energies that don't serve us. And so when I realized I was in this space, there was no, once you're in the friend zone, it's really difficult to get back to this dynamic sexual push-pull polarity, because she is going to constantly see you, the men listening. If you're in that vibration, she's going to see you as the little boy. And all of us have a little boy within. And that little boy, in a lot of ways, is driving the show. It's that default energy where we need to be nurtured and we need to be loved. We need to feel safe and secure. And we go to these energies that are serving us in one aspect of our lives, but are the death knell in another aspect of our lives. So you've got to imagine that, here's a woman that loves you and wants to be with you, but there's an attraction that's missing. So it's up to us as men to step into that power. And if you want the relationship to be working, guys, it's up to us in a huge way. So as this was happening to me and going into the friend zone, I basically lost it all. I'm now on my own, and I realized that the only way only direction I can go is forward or up. And one of my mentors is Les Brown, and he said, if you're going to fall down, fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And so I started doing research on what was happening in my world. And my sister, Karen, she's a great source of insight and inspiration for me. She's an amazing coach. And she also just got me to see where I really was as a man and what my potential was. And I realized, Cameron, that there was a need, if you will, for leadership for men. And when I got this insight, I actually resisted it. I did not want it because I saw where I was at. And it was like the universe saying, Dwayne, this is going to be your mission, to help to inspire men to live remarkable lives and to help them be champions to women, heroes to children, and brothers to each other. And I went, hell no, I'm not your guy. You see where I'm at, right? You see the challenges I'm at. How can I move forward powerfully being that guy, knowing where I'm at? Well, it was just that process. And so when I wrote my book, The Remarkable Man, the research that I was doing for it began this whole part of this acceptance or this awareness of where men were actually at. And I realized that, my God, there's a global malaise happening to men. Men around the world are feeling it. There's something that's happening within men, and they don't know how to get it back. And I was looking for support myself during this time because I was surrounded by a lot of empowered women. And they're all going to these amazing networking organizations and groups. In fact, there's a network or an organization for every aspect of a woman's life. And I thought, what's out there for guys? What do guys have? And at that time, there was nothing that I could find. And then finally, a gentleman that I knew, he said, Dwayne, I know you're looking for a group. I know a guy who knows a guy, and he knows the guy that belongs to this group. You should go check it out. And no disrespect to him, but the group that I went to was every cliche you can imagine about a men's group at that time. It was a bunch of guys. I think there was 10 guys in the group. And it was in a church basement. It wasn't affiliated with the church. It was just the location. And all of these men were commiserating about how shitty their lives were and just how the world had done them wrong, or how their wives or their girlfriends had done them wrong. And no one wanted to take responsibility for their lives. And I thought, no, this is not the container that is going to help move men forward. So I went to a men's weekend, and it was an incredibly misogynistic experience. There were some great things about it, but I also saw how several men that were not in their power, that were let's just say they had meek energy, were given tools and modalities that were just going to mess up their relationship once they got home. And I thought, wow, there's got to be a better way. So it just was part of this journey to write this book and then be a catalyst, if you will, for men to come together and identify with the remarkable man within. So this is not my idea of how you should be. So this is your version.
I understand that. I understand that you're coming from like a fall from your career, like you lost your multi-million-dollar business, like, and then you lost your family, like, I mean, then you felt like you lost your manhood, isn't it something? Because you've been betrayed, and then because you don't have the financial freedom, financial authority, and then you found like all of a sudden you are in no man's land in the manhood, right? And then you started probably doing research, what's really the reason behind it, and what are the research findings. I know that you have written the books. Would love to hear about your books, and how it can help us also to find our manhood, and how we can steer the ship, steer the wheel. At the same time, we can have a better life with a companion. So what is your findings that you got, and how you are now trying to help, to raise the manhood, those who are going through this kind of challenges?
And that's a great question. What's happening right now is quite alarming with what's happening to men in particular. Right now, suicide is, I think it's just one notch behind automobile accidents in regards to being near the top of the reason why a lot of men are checking out. What's happening right now is because of this level of confusion that a lot of men are dealing with. And a lot of men are in relationships where they're watching their beloved, their girlfriend or their wives, rock. Like that she's growing and she's learning and she's doing amazing things in her life. And men, by and large, are kind of stagnating. They're not doing the growth that needs to be done. And what ends up happening is these two worlds, they just don't see eye to eye anymore. And it is a challenge because one of the main things that guys need to really understand is that there's this aspect of being first. And when I say that is what do you need to learn? So if you are with an empowered woman right now, what do you need to learn about yourself and about relationships so that you can meet her at her level and have those amazing conversations? And you can have those conversations that move both of you forward. One of the biggest challenges that we have is the understanding of how masculine and feminine energy shows up in our lives. And for a lot of guys, when they realize that they're in a feminine vibration, a lot of them just, wait a minute, I don't have feminine energy. That's not me. Yes, it is, guys. Yes, it is. Feminine and masculine energy are not mutually exclusive to male and female. No, we have these energies. We have masculine energy, we have feminine energy. And how it shows up in our lives dictates the level of connection that we have with people. And it also shows up in our ability to be value producers out there in the world. Now, our business world is predominantly a masculine vibration. It has been for a long time. Now, because we have these empowered women all rising up and doing amazing things, and they're crushing it out there in the business world, they're carrying that masculine energy. And so when she comes home, she's still holding that masculine energy. But sadly, a lot of guys are hanging on to a feminine energy, the nice guy, and wanting to pacify any possible storm that might be coming, or maybe she's going to be upset or something. So he's in his feminine vibration, not conscious of it, but just in that energy. And she might not be conscious of the fact that she's in her masculine energy. So the two of them come together and they butt heads and they argue and they're frustrated. They're arguing about everything under the sun. But the challenge is that they're in a vibrational frequency that is not a match for themselves. So she's in masculine and doesn't know it. He's in feminine, doesn't know it. And neither of them like the energy they're in. So they blame each other for how they're feeling. So what I recommend is that you have a buffer zone between work and home, or between the time that you are going to go on a date or meet, that you transition these energies. And so for women, what do you need to do to feel feminine? What is a ritual that you can come up with to feel feminine? And for men, what's a ritual that you can come up with to feel more in your masculine power? And when you do this, maybe it's 15 to 30 minutes before you guys actually meet. And then when you come together, you're actually in the frequency that serves the relationship. And a lot of people don't think of it this way. And it's really important in order to get that sexual energy to the next level, because that energy is predicated on how those frequencies, masculine and feminine, are owned. And guys, if you do this, if you become the guy that comes to her first and steps into your authentic masculine power, so that she's got a container so that she can unload and dump this masculine heavy energy that she's hanging on to, if she can do that, then when the feminine is allowed to be freed up in her, the feminine energy is very giving. And she will end up giving you tenfold in return. It's just how she shows up. She just wants to be able to give to her beloved because she's been allowed to feel a frequency that perhaps has been missing for a while. So it is so important in today's world that we understand how these energies show up. So, that's one aspect that you can look at.
This is very, very important aspect in today's world, because our relationship are keeping apart, it's going apart. A lot of us, we are misreading the relationship, we are misleading and the relationship as well, misreading and misleading as well, because we tend to what you're saying, the energy vibration differentiating factors, that we're not able to understand that what's really my partner is really looking forward and how I can match that frequency. A lot of time we tend to misunderstand, misjudge, and misconception is coming from the behind. So that is the reason that you're saying that
Indeed.
the discomfort created, the arguments created, and also the wall has been created, and all of a sudden we look, shit, we are millions apart, you see, even if it isn't together. So that's really, what do you suggest then in order to minimize that gap? At the same time, you also understand that Maine is saying that the world has demand so much so, and so complex, they need to be out and they need to be go and earn. A lot of people thinks that way. So how do you then suggest to come out of that mentality to accommodative and persuasive, or to match that frequency? How we can do that? As I assume that you are a relationship expert as well, I see that on that perspective.
Well, there's in relationship dynamics today, because women are and have been the key drivers in those relationships. So those roles are shifting fast. And right now, I think the status of single and happy is going to be one of the the major demographics in the future, simply because a lot of people are just frustrated and just done with the drama that comes with relationships, or to teach, or to school, or be with an energy that's just not awake and aware just yet. And a lot of women are frustrated because the guys are not at their level of awareness. And that's so important right now, because if you go today to a seminar that's on awareness, on self-development, personal growth, relationships, love, some of the more softer skills, if you will, 80 to 90% of that audience is going to be women. So the women are learning, they're growing, and they're inspiring each other, and they're talking about it. So she comes home to her beloved, and she's excited about what she learned, and he's just, yeah, babe, we can, yeah, okay, let's talk about it. Show's on, or the game's on, or that's great, honey. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But he's not growing. And so it's only after a while of this frustration, and guys, listen up. She's talking about you. Yes. And in a lot of cases, it's not good. And that narrative has to stop. It has to be where she is proud, and she is, that's my man. That's my guy. And it's our responsibility to be that guy that she can brag about and talk about and say that that's my hero, that's my champion, that's the hero to my children, because he's an example of what it means to be a remarkable man. But guys, this is not me throwing you under the bus. I've got your back. I've been there. But it's important that you get that your own self-development and awareness to what is important. And you've got to take on that as one of your major responsibilities, so that you can serve the relationship at its highest level. But not only that, it's understanding you and how you show up, because you have got to do a deep dive on your triggers and why relationships are the way they are with you. Because I can guarantee that the relationship you're in probably shakes out almost like the previous relationship and the one before it, because that's your habitual program in relationships. And we've learned all these programs from our parental models. Our parents are the ones that conditioned us to show up the way we do in relationships. Because we go, wow, that's how dad dealt with anger. That's how dad dealt with frustration. Or mom, this is how mom reacted. And, excuse me, we also have programs around how perhaps they divorced. And maybe you're taking on a program about loss and responsibility and blame and shame. And all of this stuff is being carried through to your adulthood. And we bring in this energy at the maturity level that it was formed. So this is why a lot of people are shocked and dismayed about how they show up during arguments. Because you acted like a little boy or acted like a little girl. And you're going, wow, I can't believe I did that. I'm so sorry. I don't know where that came from. That's just crazy. I do that from time to time. I show up that way. Where is that? And yeah, the little 5-year-old little boy showed up. You know, temper tantrum, ran out of the room, slammed the door, whatever that is. So this is why it is so important that men in particular today learn about their programs, learn about self-development, learn about how to show up powerfully in relationships. Because guys, if you think she's empowered now, you haven't seen anything yet. If you think that you're more lost and confused and frustrated about what it means to be a man, You haven't seen anything yet. And this is why it's so important that we prepare ourselves for this ever-changing relationship landscape, because it is going to change much more dramatically, a lot faster, and it is up to men to step up. Well, I'll carry the show. I can't hear you.
Yeah, it's breaking.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Now I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. So this is why it's so important
yep.
right now for men to step up into their power and know this, that no woman should have to dumb it down or play small to be with a man. And no man should be putting her on a pedestal. Because if you consider that a metaphor, if you will, and if she's on a pedestal, what's the direction that she's looking at when she looks at you? She has to look down. And no woman wants to look down at her man, ever. And this is why it's so important that men today ratchet up their self-development and awareness to match hers and beyond. Because no matter how powerful a woman is, she still wants to look up to her man. She still wants to be proud of her man. She wants to feel safe and secure with her man and know that he's got this. So this is what the journey of that remarkable man represents. Hey, Kevin, good to see you on the show, brother.
Good. Hello, Kevin. How are you? So hope you are good and sound. And yes, put us your questions, your thoughts. We are in a quite a bit intense discussion now. Dwayne, where do you see that these things are shaping? I know that as you are a relationship coach, author, you're a speaker, you're as an transformational speaker, and you're working this in quite a bit time. So where do you see this polarization or is going towards? And what is the impact that's going to happen in the mankind as well? What do you see this world is heading towards?
That is a great question. And Susie, thank you. I appreciate it. We are in ever-changing times. And as much as there's this polarity that's happening between men and women right now, I believe that we are moving towards something absolutely beautiful for all of humankind. However, there is this idea that we're moving towards the sense of balance between masculine and feminine energy. That all sounds well and good, but it's not the dynamic that humanity's ready for yet. We haven't gotten to that stage of our evolution where 50% masculine and 50% feminine is working. When it's perfectly in balance, there's no push-pull sexual tension. There's that sexual dynamic isn't there. There's niceness, there's friendship, there is co-creativeness, there's all this wonderful energy. But where we need to get to, and I talk about this a lot within the Remarkable Man Project and the men that I work with and coach, is that there's 3 levels of our masculine energy. And we're moving out of a vibration that our world has been in for thousands of years. And that's called the egoic masculine. And this is where men are, let's just call it 80 to 100% in that masculine energy. And that masculine energy is very fight or flight. It's polarizing. It's immature. And it could be, this is where that douchebag energy or the jerk, the macho jerk. As much as it could be negative, there's also some positive attributes as well. It's stone cold leadership. You might see this in the military, where you just have to be very militant in the instruction and what needs to get done because lives depend on it. It's in our hierarchy in the police force or in fire departments or sports teams. You know, there has to be that high degree of that egoic masculine because it's very competitive. Now, there's that side of it, and our world has been functioning from that vibration simply because of survival. It's empire building, it's nation building, it's you know, creating a world in which we live in that's ever evolving. However, there's also the flip side where there's an energy where men are only, you know, 10 to 40% in their masculine energy, and they're more feminine energy dominant. And a lot of guys that are in that vibration are very indecisive. They're very much in their drama, and relationships are very difficult in that vibration because he's showing up as a little boy. He's showing up timid, cowardly, and these are not attributes that most guys need to embody in order to function highly in this world. Now, where most guys lie is in the 40 to 60% range, almost right in the middle. This is where guys are, they're the nice guy, and yes, he can.
Hello, Dwayne. Seems that the connectivity has been lost. Okay, okay. It looks like the connectivity has been lost. Let me get him back again. Yes, it was very nice and intense discussion, and I hope that
Okay,
I'll be
we're
adding
back.
him again. Yep, you're back.
Okay.
Good. And the
Funny
masculine
how
energy is back.
as much as we have these technologies, a phone call comes in and it just takes everything off track. And that was my mom too. I have to.
Okay.
All right. So back to the energy.
Yep.
Where most guys are is at 40 to 60%, and it's great, but it's not so great because a lot of guys that are in this, and this is most guys, is that their love and care and attention is conditional. So we do what we do because we want something. We have a hidden agenda. The energy is so fragile that it is contingent upon how she shows up. So the sweet spot, or the where men need to be today, is in that 70 or 65 to 75 to 80%. And this is what I call the authentic masculine. This is where a guy is decisive, he's on point, he knows who he is, he knows the leader within, but he's also heart-centered. And he knows that he can connect with his emotions and deal with them at a heart-centered level, but it doesn't own him. It's not all of who he is. And guys, it's so important that you're able to do the deep dive into your emotions. However, don't stay there. Go deep and shallow rather than wide and long, because as much as she wants to be there for you and nurture you, she wants her man to get his proverbial shit together, just and say, you know what, I want to nurture you in this. I want to support you in this, and then I want you to take on what you're learning and shift this and be the champion that you're meant to be. So this is why this 50-50 doesn't work. And a lot of people might think that, well, Dwayne, that's not very spiritual. You know, we're going to this 50-50. But the truth is that it is very spiritual, because this is where a man is truly in his authentic power. and he's able to dance between these two worlds and stay enough in his masculine energy to support her, to help her transmute that masculine energy into her feminine vibration. Because if you look at the yin-yang symbol, the Tao, people think that that's 50-50, masculine and feminine energy. But if you split it down the center, it actually isn't. 30% of the masculine kind of bulbs out into the feminine, and 30% of the feminine bulbs out into the masculine. That's actually the perfect ratio. This is where we want to. This is when we want to own that energy. So women, they're high functioning and at work. They can crush it in the business world, but then they can soften into that feminine vibration, the divine feminine, where their true power lies. And men can be in that their feminine energy to be kind, to be nurturing, to be heart-centered, but they know when to be leaders, and they know how to be decisive and be on point to serve themselves, their beloved, and their families.
Great. So as I understand this, all of this that you are mentioning is actually just to strengthen the relationship and strengthen the output as well. So can we just talk about something about the remarkable man book that you have written and authored? So what did you find the key factors that are missing today? And if we can instill this in our habits, so that can help us to strengthen that relationship. So based on your findings.
Sure. So the book is a guide, if you will, to help men identify the remarkable man within. So every man has been the remarkable man at some point in his life. He has felt him. He's breathed him in. He's felt on purpose. He's felt strong. And perhaps if you're really a young man, maybe this hasn't been something that you felt before. However, you know there's a vision for what's possible. So what I have written in the book, and what my message is that vision that you have, lock that in, because it's not my version of it. It's yours, and it's unique to you. So you know what you need to do to step up and be a remarkable man in your life. So the second step is really identify with it. Write a chapter or a paragraph of what a remarkable man is to you. And in every area of your life, your business world, or your side hustle, or your relationship, whether you're single, whether you're dating, or in a long-term or married, what does that look like? What does it mean to be a hero to your children? Or if you're about to have children, what does it mean to be an awesome dad and have that legacy? Now, when I say this, there might be men that watch this that are grandfathers, and their children are grown up. Well, the legacy never ends. If you want to be a hero to your children, and your relationship with your dad is still broken, or there's pain, or there's hurt, that needs to be healed, because your children are going to find out sooner or later that dad and grandpa do not have a great relationship. And why is that? What happened? What was the pain? What was the hurt, the anguish, the sorrow that occurred there? Awareness is everything. So your father may not have the capability to go to that place where he's going to apologize in this lifetime. It just might be the way it is. However, you have an opportunity to heal that in spite of that, because of your awareness. And you need to heal it for you, not for him. You need to heal it for you, so that you can show up powerfully and heal the wounds that occurred, so that your child is not going to get the torch passed to them. Because this happens so often in relationship dynamics and family dynamics. And so once that relationship is healed for you, and it might be as simple as, Dad, I've been doing a lot of work on myself. I'm owning how I'm showing up in the world, and there has been a lot of pain and anguish, and I've blamed you for that. I'm hanging on to a story, and I'm blaming you for that, and today that ends. I'm forgiving you. I'm letting go of the story. Now here's the important part of this, is that your apology or your forgiveness is not predicated on his response, because it might not come back the way you hoped it would. He might not apologize. He might just think you're insane. He might just cut you down like he's always cut you down. Or he just might sob and just realize how broken he's been and how he's hurt you, and everything gets healed, or it starts the process of healing. So no matter how old you are and that relationship's not healed, that's got to be a goal, as hard as it is. I know it's hard for a lot of men to reach out to a father that was anything but a father. And perhaps he's not even with us anymore. Perhaps he's gone, and that opportunity to heal that is gone physically. But you do have an opportunity to forgive, because he's out there. He's in the ether. He's energy's all around us. And you have an opportunity to send that energy out to the universe and forgive, because the vibration of forgiveness is so powerful. Again, you're doing it for you, so that you can show up powerfully for your sons and daughters. So that's that one aspect of identifying what the remarkable man is. So once you have that done and you recognize that, okay, what needs to be healed for me to show up powerfully? So I can show up powerfully for my beloved. In that paragraph, where are you weakest? And be honest with yourself. Really be honest with yourself. Where are you the weakest? And it might be in the relationship. Maybe that's it. Maybe you've always had a hard time dealing with relationships. Okay, so that's where you need to focus. That's an area you need to focus. Now, there's you where you're at right now, and then there's where the remarkable man lies. Is he 1 month away? Is he 6 months away? Is he a year away? Maybe it's a 2 or 5 year project. So just be honest with yourself about the time frame, and then start going to work with some basic fundamentals. And that's just awareness, just showing up and figuring out what you need to do as the man you are at the place you're at, and take full responsibility for how things are showing up.
Great. So Dwayne, it's really wonderful to discuss with you this this manhood and the man within man. What I should say, this journey is actually, for the greater good, and I hope and believe that this is helpful to some extent, to believe in ourselves, to believe in our ability, and to make our journey a bit better with our partner and with our life as a whole, so that we can create a betterment for ourselves and for our society and for the universe as a result. And one last thought from you, that as you are into this mission to help this journey, those who are having difficulties or they need to strengthen the relationship, is actually in order to become a greater good. So one last suggestion from your end, what can be done?
Sure. And I kind of alluded to it a little bit, but guys, in this time, in this space, take 100% responsibility for where you find yourself. Take 100% responsibility for the relationship, and just own it. Just own where it's at. Even though everything about you wants to project blame and point fingers, and maybe it's she's showing up as a tornado every time, and you just want to blame her for how you feel. Stop it. Just stop it, and just own your stuff. Just own how you're showing up. in the relationship, because all she is a trigger for you. All anyone is a trigger for you. And it's our time, gentlemen, to take responsibility for our lives and own every aspect of it so that we can show up powerfully. When you take responsibility, and get this, responsibility is not about blame. You're not blaming yourself for about how bad things are. You're just taking responsibility for how things are. Once you take responsibility, now you have the power. When you have the power, things start to, you start wanting to learn. You want to start growing. What's a new book that you can read? What's a seminar you can go to? What's a YouTube video that you can watch? And then go to your beloved and go, hey, babe, I totally get what you were talking about last week. And I'm learning about triggers. For the first time in my life, I'm realizing that you're triggering me. And it has nothing to do with you. It's the little boy in me. And wow, I just can't believe how I showed up. I just so got triggered in that moment. And I'm learning and I'm growing. But this is the last thing I want to say too. And this is for the ladies. This is for the ladies. You are learning. You are growing. You are going to the seminars. You're reading all the books. You have a level of awareness that most men can't match. And so you know that you're in a relationship dynamic where you have some outrageous kung fu when it comes to knowing what you know. So when a man, your beloved, comes into your world with something new, or he's trying something for the first time to help change something, or he's given it his best effort, even with what little he is getting from information. Because, ladies, I want to be honest with you. Men are not getting the information and education that you are getting when it comes to relationships and the inner work, the soul work. We're not getting that stuff en masse. Only a few men are getting that. And you know this. So when your man actually does something, a notch above that is better than what was before, just embrace that and encourage that. Because a lot of women are just going, oh, fine. Oh, look at you trying to do something there. And even though it might not be authentic, he's not fully owning it, allow him that one thing, because he's not getting the education that you are. So if he does something to help move the relationship forward, praise him for it. Just give it to him as an encouragement. Don't knock him down. Don't hurt him and belittle him and shame him for what little he knows. He's not getting the tools. And if he is getting something, encourage him to go to the next level. It's so important at this time. So I want to leave you with that.
Thank you. Thank you for these precise suggestions and precise tools. And I believe that every one of us, we are holding the remarkable manship within us. And it is our sincere responsibility as well to nourish that responsibility and to take care of it and to grow it, for our generations, the generations that we are leaving behind. Everybody, every one of us, we actually live for our generations. So I believe and hope that this manhood is actually for the generations that are living behind, that I'm holding with me right now. So I hope that with this little effect, every one of us can realize the potentials that we have in terms of holding and upholding, upbringing our manhood for the greater good. It's not for me, it's not for dominating, it's not for, holding it tight. It's also releasing it and also letting it go at some times. And it also can give us peace. It also can give us greater control. And you rightly said the awareness and owning it and owning the responsibility as well. So owning its the key for awareness as well. If we can own it, we can create the awareness, and this awareness can be for the self, this awareness can be for the family, this awareness can be for the generations that we leave behind. And with this effort, I believe that the generations that we are creating, they would be aware to the relationship that we have and that we taught today with this journey. And I cannot really thank you enough, Dwayne, to bring this into the light. I'm really grateful to you, and of course the viewers, those who has given that precise and precious time to listen all of this. I'm indebted particularly to all of you for your support and encouragement. And I believe that with Dwayne's thought, we can have something improved in our life. We can believe in ourselves, and we can help others to believe in themselves as well. And this can help to realize our manhood potentials, the things Dwayne is talking about with his life, with his passion, with his experience, and with his mission. And I greatly believe that this mission needs today than there are any time in the past, because this present is so much complex than ever presented in front of us. And only the awareness and being presence can help us to overcome these complexities of today that we are creating out of our unknown awareness that is holding us back. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, everyone, for giving us the opportunity to serve you. Thank you, Dwayne.
Thanks so much.
And I wish to have you. It's my pleasure, Dwayne. I wish to have you another time, another second episode, because this is so much interesting and so much important of today's aspect as well. So I invite you to have another intense session in the next time, and I invite all of the viewers as well. Thank you. So with this great hope, I believe that hope is everything that would drive today to tomorrow, and there is always tomorrow, but we cannot forget today as well. Take care and see you sometime. Take care, Dwayne. See you soon.
Take care, All the best. Cheers.
Bye-bye.